Morning everybody, welcome to another installment of Kerfuffle Kitchen. Today is actually going to be a shorter video because I can't really, actually a two-part video I should say, because I have to skin the pork belly. I didn't realize when I bought it, it was skin on. It's so much easier to get skin off because you can good brine it. So let's get right to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skin this guy, make my own chicharrones, and you can do those however you like. If you don't know how to do those, when I fry them, I will do a video if you all would like. Just let me know in the comments, because I don't have time today to do the chicharrones, so I can do them another day. Okay, first we're going to unseal this guy. We're going to prison. And there's excess juice in there, as you can see, as it floats down as the vio crack is broken. So we're going to have to drain that, but we can do that later. For now, you want a clean surface to cut on. And my cutting board, all of them are wood, so this will do fine for me. If you guys have plastic cutting boards, I recommend that. Okay, so let me get this beast out of here. Oh God, I never knew 6 pounds could weigh so much. Or however much this weighs. There we go. Let's see. Really? Only that? It only weighs that much? Dang. Okay, well. Okay, wait. 10 pounds. That's 10 pounds? Damn. That's a lot of bacon. Okay. Here we go. So, I personally like to cut it down the middle and do it in halves. But I know some of you are a little ambitious and you want to do the whole thing at once. Well, I do not recommend that because of a few reasons. One, it gets harder as you go farther. And two, you can mess it up a little bit more, so you're not going to have as much fat on the bacon. And now you're asking, why skin it? It's all delicious fat. Reason being is, yes, the belly is a good source of fat, but like I said, I like making chicharrones with it. It's a little bit better use of the belly, because the belly kind of gets rubbery when you cook it. So you don't want that rubberiness. It gets crispy but rubbery. Yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, you want a paring knife, which is just a smaller, skinny knife. And then you want your regular knife, which is, you know, whatever you want to use. So we're going to cut this beast in the middle, right there. Come on. See, like I'm saying, the skin's tough. You're going to make sure, A, you have a sharper knife, but B, you don't want to cook it. I mean, you do want to cook it, but you don't want to cook it with this, because when we slow roast it, it's not going to come off very well. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to just kind of par in here. And then after we take a little bit off the top, as you can see, I'm grabbing the back right now, just trim it. You don't have to cut it all the way, just trim it a little bit. And as you go, just pull at the skin a little bit more. Watch your fingers, by the way, because this is a good part where you might cut yourself. Okay. Now I'm getting a good portion off of it. This should only take you about 5 to 10 minutes to do. I mean, sometimes it'll vary depending on your knife skills. Like sometimes this will take me longer depending on how I want the fat to be out. But really you just want as much fat on the belly as possible. But you don't want the skin. See, that's where you kind of screw up there. Okay, let's see where we're going. Right here now. So I got this side halfway done. So I'm going to start on the other side now, because that's just easier to start a new side. See how hard it is for me to cut this small slab right here? Good thing I cut it in half, because you know how much struggling I have to do on that guy? Leave me alone, man. Okay. Back to the other side. Okay, so far so good, we're looking good. Okay, come on. You can flip it over if you want, it makes it easier sometimes, but only do what you're comfortable with, I would say. Now, for all you wondering what's in this jar over here, I'll just go over that real briefly. I got a few requests for my sourdough bread, and so I'm making some yeast for it right now. Now, I personally like to do a 3 or 4 day ferment on my yeast. And if you're looking to ferment yeast, there's two ways. There's the traditional way, and then there's the cheater's way, which I'm a big fan of the cheater's way because, you know, you're always guaranteed to have a yeast reaction. Ooh, got some meat on that one. That's okay. So what I mean by yeast reaction is when you do wild yeast, which is the traditional way, you're mixing a couple flours in order to make the bacteria culture that is yeast. Now, bacteria, that's bad. No, actually, yeast bacteria is fine. What it is, it's basically just the leavening source of bread. So it's in all breads. So like I said, there's the right way, which is the traditional way, which you grab barley flour, rye flour, and some all-purpose flour, or you can do whole wheat flour, which I actually prefer whole wheat flour. A little bit more nutrition in there. But anyway, the accurate way is to do that, equal parts. Actually, no. You want like 1.5 cups of the barley, 1 cup of the rye, and then 1/2 cup of the all-purpose or wheat flour. And then you let that sit with about 1.5 cups of water. Like, make sure it's warm water though, like maybe about 100 degrees, because then you'll have basically it'll wake up the bacteria. What's it called? The yeast. Yes, the yeast bacteria will wake up from its call. But yeah, so this segment is just going to basically be about pork belly and then talking about the yeast. So with yeast though, it's not just like make it and go away. You got to make sure that you're going to, oh yeah, look at that. See, like I said, if you did this in one slab, it'd be harder. Yeah, so, what was I saying? As always in Kerfuffle Kitchen, I'm forgetting everything I'm talking about because I get distracted. Oh yeah, the cheater's way. So that's the right way to do yeast. I do a 3 or 4 day fermentation before I start making bread. Why wait that long to fermentate? Because if you just, you know, gung-ho it, your bread's not going to have that sourdough taste. Now, when doing a fermentation on yeast, you're going to have to, like, you know, wait a few days at least. It'll start to smell and it will rot. Yeast rises a lot because what's happening is all the flour you're putting in there, the bacteria that's in it, is going to start eating all the sugar that's in bread, which is basically gluten. So when you're, and actually, yeah, so sourdough, I believe, I remember reading this, is actually the best bread for you because A, the fermentation process kind of eliminates most of the sugar. Now that's just sugar within the bread, not within the flour itself. But also it eliminates most of the gluten. So actually, if people have a gluten sensitivity, sourdough might be better for them. Don't quote me on that. That's just what I read from a book. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I'm going to end the video soon, that's why. So basically with the, you know, right here, just make sure you have a big jar. Like, I only filled this up about right here, which is about 1/5 of the way up on this jar, and it rose on me all the way up here overnight. So how can I tell? Is because the lines, you know, the stream coming down, that's where it was, and it came down. So I just fed it again today. You want to feed it twice a day around the same time. I choose to do it at 10 and 10 because, you know, that's when I'm around most times. And yeah, so you always just want to make sure it's fed at the same time. And you're going to smell it. It's going to smell pretty bad. But that's basically just the yeast excreting its gases. Okay, so I'm going to skin this guy up. I'm going to end this video today. As you can see, I have my fancy apron on because, you know, yeah, this is going to be a 2-part video though. So I will come back when I'm ready to rub and roast, and then we'll just do a quick video on that. And we are back. I've skinned the pork. I have made my own house ground seasoning, as per usual. I don't like pre-made seasonings. I got my pork belly. See, it's got plenty of fat still. And we're going to season this guy inside of a bowl, just so I don't lose any seasoning. And we're actually going to let him sit for about maybe half an hour. And at that time, we are going to pop him in the oven. So until then, I shall bid you adieu. Because you know why? Seasoning these are more important than you think. And I'm just going to make sure they're well seasoned. And then I'm going to pop them in the oven at about 325 for about 2 hours. That way they get nice and tender. And I'm going to do 275. Yeah, bring it down a little bit more. I don't want this to overcook too much. But yeah, if you want to know what's in my seasoning, it's basically black pepper, crushed red pepper, cayenne pepper. Like I said, I like it spicy. Garlic powder, ginger powder. What else is in here? Oh, black sea salt, because Hawaii, we have a bunch of different types of sea salt. Yeah, I'm going to season it. Make sure it's really well seasoned. Don't go really under seasoned because, you're going to be slicing it super thin. But you also don't want it super salty, but, pork loves salt. Pork and salt go hand in hand. Like I said, anyway, though, I'm done seasoning. So I'm going to come back after I've roasted it so you guys can just see the final product, and then we'll end the video for today.